Hello, I'm Jessica Amir, market analyst with Bell Direct. Today I'm joined by carsales.com.au, which is Australia's largest online vehicle sales website. The CEO, Cameron McIntyre, is with us now. Cameron, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for inviting me, Jessica. Nice to be here.
So to kick off with, for those that don't know, Car Sales has operations in Australia, South Korea, Brazil and Latin America. What's really noteworthy to me is despite travel restrictions from March this year to the second week of November, Car Sales shares are up 105%. Now, a big part of that is that we've seen behavioural shifts. Car ownership is increasing and that's grown your company earnings. Tell us all about this.
Yeah, no, I mean, the share price, I mean, we don't keep much of an eye on that, but I think probably from Feb to now is a better indicator as opposed to March, because March was really the bottom with COVID. But look, I guess, you know, in terms of market dynamics, we've seen a number of things change with COVID. I mean, people are doing things like avoiding public transportation. They can't travel internationally. They can't even travel domestically interstate. So, they're choosing to take intrastate holidays, and they're choosing to avoid public transport. So they're moving back into car ownership, and that's good for our business. As much as car sales is a big part of our business, bikes, boats, trucks are also verticals that we're in, and caravans as well. And so with things like interstate and international travel off, even a vertical like caravans is doing really well at the moment.
Yeah, so caravan sales are doing well. What about on the other side of COVID-19, Cameron? Car sales are expected to increase, and this is something that's been observed in China with their car sales jumping, particularly in SUVs after their travel restrictions eased. So what trends are expected locally here in Australia and in the regions that you operate in?
Yeah, so if you think about Australia first, so new car sales in Australia have been challenging over the last sort of 12 months, but what we're seeing is gradual improvement there. Last month, new car sales were down about 1.5%, but if you took out Victoria, we actually saw some good growth in new car sales volumes. I expect that what we've seen globally with new car sales is disruption as a result of manufacturing, lack of components and so on, which are interrupting supply chains, which mean that stock is more difficult to get. And what that's done is it's pushed more people into the used car market, and what that's done is it's driven up pricing in the used car market. So, some of the stats that we see just in Australia, used car prices are up circa sort of 20% year on year. I expect that will ease as we start to see more new car stock enter the market over the course of hopefully the next 3 to 6 months, as things improve internationally and supply becomes more readily available. Same sort of trend we see in all of our international countries. So Brazil's very similar. Korea is very similar. Even Korea, where you go, well, Hyundai and Kia are in Korea. Same sort of disruptions though, with lack of components and so on, which are impacting new car sales volumes. But the used car market, which is largely our biggest driver of performance, is very strong.
Now, speaking about that strength, this financial year traffic numbers and car listings are up, which bodes well for you. So what can shareholders look forward to that could drive share price growth?
Yeah, so I mean, if you start with the operating metrics, as you point out, traffic has been up. More people are getting into cars as a result of some of those macro factors that we've just talked about there. What we're seeing, which are important metrics for us, are things like time to sell. So how long is it taking for a car that when it comes onto our website to sell? We're seeing very low numbers there, which means cars are turning over really quickly. And what that does, it has an impact on inventory. So inventory is a little bit lower at the moment than what it would normally be because car turnover is much faster, and fast turnover is good for us. In terms of what we expect to see going forward, I mean, obviously, as the new car market returns, hopefully that's good for our media business. A lot of the car companies are advertisers on platforms like car sales. If the used car market stays buoyant as it has been, that's obviously good for our business. With COVID restrictions, people not being able to enter other people's homes, particularly here in Victoria over the last several months, what that's done is it's suppressed private sellers from selling their cars because fear around health and safety. So as restrictions ease in Victoria, what we're looking for is to start to see some of that market return to a little bit more normal levels. But at the same time, what we're seeing is people holding onto cars more as they want to hand a car down to other members of their family, et cetera, so, or increase the number of vehicles in the family itself. So that's that's all playing out as well. Then we've obviously just talked about the other automotive verticals that we have and how they're playing out as well in our business, and then the dealer part of our business, which is very important in terms of the way we grow and evolve. So numbers of opportunities that we're delivering to our dealer customers is super important. Then you take that and you apply that into Brazil, into South Korea, which are much, much bigger car markets than we are here in Australia. We do about 1 million new cars a year, roughly around 3 million used cars a year. A market like Brazil is the 4th largest car market in the world. I mean, they do a multiple of the sort of sales volumes that we do. So if we can sort of replicate that in those other markets, then we should, hopefully things pan out quite nicely over the course of the next 6 to 12 months.
And just lastly now, Cameron, why do you think investors should be adding car sales to their portfolio?
I mean, we see ourselves as a growth business. We're a very innovative business. We focus on, what we're doing here in Australia in terms of our core classifieds business. We're focused on diversifying via what we call adjacent market opportunities. So inside the classifieds businesses, we have multiple verticals. We're also focused on adjacencies. We're also focused on looking at things like future mobility. So where is mobility going over the next 10 to 15 years? And how do we play a role in that? We launched a business a couple of weeks ago called Placey, which is a mobility marketplace, which is worthwhile checking out. And we're quite bullish about how that can evolve over time. Then on top of that, you layer all the high growth markets that we're in. So these are markets that are evolving in terms of their digitization. They're evolving in terms of car ownership. And you mentioned Latin America and Brazil. These are emerging markets. And our view is if we can deploy our technology and our intellectual property into those markets, as those markets mature, hopefully we can create different versions of car sales in much, much larger markets than we have here in Australia, which is obviously great for shareholders.
Well, let's hope the business continues to rev up. Cameron McIntyre, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Jessica.
And thank you for watching. For more information about carsales.com.au, head to Bell Direct's website.